Why, hello there, goblins! Welcome back. Today we've got the ZX-9R back out again, and last time you saw this motorcycle on the channel, I said to you guys that I'd broken it. And what I meant by that was that the clutch was slipping on this motorcycle. And, I mean, I had seen this in forums, but I'm sure a few of you had also mentioned it as well in the comment section of the last video about maybe adjusting the clutch lever, or the clutch cable. So the clutch cable is here, as you can see, and that runs all the way down the side of the bike to here. And basically that's exactly what I've done for today. So I loosened those two, loosened this one up here, twisted that one a few times, twisted these ones a little bit more so this lever can close a little bit further this way. And I mean, she's been running okay today. I haven't been out on her for that long, so we'll have a little play around with the clutch today, and we'll see if we can pop some wheelies or something like that. But yeah, I mean, the clutch is probably still going to have to be changed at some point or other if I'm going to be abusing it a lot, which I have every intention to. But in today's video, we are going to discuss, well, basically, what exactly can happen when you are practicing wheelies. Because, I mean, for the most part, if you're doing wheelies correctly, then you won't have any trouble whatsoever. The bike will be absolutely fine, and, you know, the bike will probably be able to do wheelies all day long. But that's the issue. It's when you're not doing it fine. And for the most part, when you're learning how to do wheelies, you're not going to be doing them any good at all. And I have a sneaky suspicion that that's exactly why the clutch gave out in the first place, was because, yeah, it's because I was doing pretty piss poor wheelies. So, and I was doing second gear clutch ups as well, and we are referring to clutch ups specifically in today's video. As far as I'm aware, doing throttle ups doesn't do any harm to the clutch or anything like that, as far as I'm aware. But I mean, let's have a look. No, that one was rubbish. See, it's all about the timing on the clutch. Try again. Hopefully your sheep don't get in the way. Here we go. Slow down a little bit. I still think it's slipping a little bit. Let's try one more. Yeah, it should be picking up the front wheel, so it's probably not gripping as good as it should do. Now, to be honest, by this point I should have already had the new friction plates installed on the bike, but unfortunately the clutch springs, the new clutch springs that I'd ordered, haven't arrived yet. And well, today it's been a week that they haven't arrived, which is really annoying, but well, whatever. That's how it goes sometimes when you're ordering stuff online. So I might have to get another batch of springs for the clutch. I don't know. I might even just go ahead and swap out the friction plates without installing new springs, because technically you shouldn't have to. But I do suspect that the springs in this motorcycle are the original springs. So I don't know. My better judgment is telling me that I should replace the springs as well. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But the one thing I don't want to do is open up the clutch casing, take everything out, put everything back in with the old springs, and then have to undo the clutch casing again and damage the new gasket that I've got, all because I didn't install new springs to begin with. So it's a bit of a risk if you do it that way. But that is the very first thing that can go wrong when you're trying to pull wheelies on a motorcycle, especially an old motorcycle. And I mean, if you are sensible about practicing wheelies and you understand that you are probably going to damage the bike in some way or other, then you would buy an older bike. Yeah, so that is something to keep in mind. And to be honest, changing out a clutch, it looks fairly easy. I haven't had the opportunity to do it yet on this motorcycle, so I can't tell you from first-hand experience, but it looks pretty straightforward and it looks like a pretty simple process. So it shouldn't be, you know, it would be wise if you are going to do wheelies, or if you're going to practice wheelies on an older motorcycle, to maybe just have a pack of friction plates just spare, just in case they end up going on the bike, especially if it is the only bike that you have. You know, I'm in a fortunate position where it doesn't matter if something goes wrong with this motorcycle. I've still got plenty others that I can use, and well, I've got 3 others I can use, including the Wifey's Ninja 125, and you know, and it doesn't affect my production schedule either, because I can always just do videos on those motorcycles instead. But that's the very first thing that I want you to watch out for, is damage to the clutch, because it could quite easily do some damage to the clutch if you are not careful. But at the same time, it's not an expensive fix, at least if you're going to do it yourself. If you're going to send it to a garage, then they'll probably charge you about 100 quid labour, something like that. So all in all, it might cost you anywhere from 150 to 200 pounds to get the clutch out, to get the clutch replaced rather, officially done by a garage. But honestly, when we come to do that video, hopefully it's going to be a straightforward process, because that's how it looks. And if I can do it, then any of you guys can do it, you know? I don't know if you guys just saw that then, but I had a false neutral come up on the bike, and apparently this is normal on ZX-9Rs, just, and they don't cause any problems to the bike as far as I'm aware. The gearbox has been pretty good. Gears have been going in and out fairly smoothly, so I'm not concerned about that at the moment. But if it keeps on happening, you know, during every gear shift, there are a lot of gear shifts, then I might have to do something about it. But anyway, so of course the next thing that will probably happen to you when you're practicing wheelies on a motorcycle is you might get hurt. And I mean, one of the risks of practicing wheelies is looping the bike. Now, even though you've got a massive degree angle that you would have to do on a motorcycle before you'd actually flip yourself over, it's still easily done, especially on more powerful bikes. So on smaller bikes, 250s, 125s, you'll probably be able to get the wheel up enough that you'll be pulling a pretty decent wheelie, but the bike won't have enough power necessarily to totally loop the bike around. But on bigger bikes, that is a very real risk, especially because, well, they don't have wheelie control. Older bikes don't have wheelie control. They don't have anything like that to speak of. So, you know. But yeah, that's one of the things that you will have to watch out for. So whatever you do, if you're practicing wheelies, try and go through the same process that I've documented, where you're just popping little ones. Don't go ahead and do the big ones straight away. Because, I mean, one of the biggest issues is that throttle control. Once you've got that front wheel off the floor, how you actually control the bike at that point from a throttle perspective, because that is pretty difficult in its own right. And my instinct, and I'm pretty sure a lot of instincts from a lot of riders, is to come off the throttle almost immediately as soon as the front wheel comes off the ground. And if you want to hold the wheelie, then, well, you've got to keep on the gas. You've got to keep on the throttle, keep the power open. But yeah, you know, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm sure a lot of you will know already. And I mean, that's the thing. The main thing is the risk to you, the risk to the rider, rather than the risk to the motorcycle. Because pretty much when you're practicing wheelies, things that will happen to the bike aren't necessarily as important than what will happen to you in a lot of cases. And yeah, it's going to be it would be not a nice feeling when something goes wrong with the bike, like this one. The clutch is gone, always going rather, but it's okay. You know, I'm not hurt and I'm doing all right. That's the worst thing that you could possibly do, is just pull wheelies when you haven't got a lot of experience and you haven't got a lot of control of the bike and you're pulling massive wheelies. Again, like always, you want to stay in control of the motorcycle throughout the entire process. As soon as you are not in control of the motorcycle, then that's when issues start happening. Especially when you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, like backing it in or doing endos or wheelies or stoppies, whatever you want to call them. Endos, stoppies. You know, it's the danger is all on you, all right? And as always, if you're going to practice wheelies, try and find somewhere that is as secluded as possible, where there's very minimal traffic and you haven't got to worry about anything else. You know, all the danger is on you and you're not causing danger anywhere else or to anyone else. Right, I mean, you might have an opportunity here to pull a little clutch up. Let's see. No one behind me. Alright, let's see. Let's have a go. See, it seems to bite, but then it kind of like doesn't, you know? The wheel came up a teeny tiny bit off the ground there, but gotta give it a bit more gas. See, the front wheel came off the floor ever so slightly, but again, it doesn't want to jump. See, I had the clutch fully out then, fully out, and it wasn't accelerating. It was at 9,000 RPM. So I'll do one more, but I don't want to do too many, just in case I don't know, the clutch won't bite at all. I mean, that one I got a pretty good bite there. The wheel came off the floor quite nicely. Oh, there's no one else behind me. Oh, I'll do one more because I'm getting them all right now. Okay, that was another little baby one again. It's all about timing with this. All about timing. Yeah, it came up off the ground a little bit and I was able to hold it, but it's not as good as it could be. Woo! There you go, that was a pretty good one. Okay, maybe the clutch has got some life left in it. Okay. I mean, it is in first gear though. That's one thing to keep in mind here with all this. That is in first gear, and the second gear clutch ups, they have a lot more pressure. They do a lot more pressure on the motorcycle, so they have a lot more pressure on the clutch, a lot more wear on the clutch. It's a bit annoying now though. I've got people behind me. But I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting used to how the bike feels when it's coming up off the ground. I mean, let's try another one here. Ah, no, nothing. There we go. That was a nice little wheelie. Nice little wheelie. It came up, I don't know, maybe less than a foot off the ground, but it's okay. It's all right. So this clutch has got a little bit of life left in it, and when I put on the gas, it doesn't seem to. Well, it doesn't slip anywhere near as much as it was before, but. Let's try another one. Not enough gas there. Let's try again. Woo! There we go. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. I like practicing wheelies on this bike because they're actually quite controlled wheelies. You know, they're not. They don't jump up on you that much. But again, I could just be the way how I'm practicing them. I don't know. But yeah, it's a really nice little bike. Well, I say little, it's 900cc, but you know what I mean. It's a pretty good bike to be practicing wheelies on, and you are able to get those little bumps off the ground. And I mean, at that point, if I gave it a little bit more throttle, then I could get the wheel higher off the ground. So it's a really nice little bike to pull wheelies on. I like it. Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, that's another piece of advice that I was going to present to you in today's video about practicing wheelies on a motorcycle that isn't too big. I mean, all the motorcycles that I've got are basically 1 litre and up, or 1 litre equivalent and up. This is a 900cc. It's the smallest motorcycle that I've got. Of course, the Wifey's 125 is much smaller, but in terms of the motorcycles that I actively ride, the ones that I own, this is the smallest of all of them. And the biggest worry that I had, because as part of the challenge, I did want to have a motorcycle that I could practice wheelies on. And the thing that worried me, let's try a little one here. Too many people around. I get nervous whenever I'm trying to do wheelies in front of people, but let's try another one. Here we go. Didn't get it. The front wheel didn't come off at all then. But yeah, it's not to practice wheelies on a motorcycle that is too big for you. And as kind of rubbish as that sounds, it does make sense, because yes, it is easier. Putting a wheelie is easier on a bigger motorcycle than on a smaller one. But if you are going to get a motorcycle, you want to practice wheelies on it specifically, then get something that's a bit smaller. I've gotta do less of a pop on the clutch. Came off the ground just a little bit. Again, it's not about the power. A lot of it is about the timing. Getting the timing right. That's how people are able to pull wheelies on 125s, on Groms, on R125s and things. They're very, very difficult to do. Not impossible, but it's very, very difficult to do on a smaller displacement motorcycle. But at least it means then you're not going to flip the bike around. There's another little one, little baby one. And you've got to be comfortable with the bike as well. Pretty much don't do what I've done, buy a motorcycle and then just start practicing wheelies on it straight away. To be fair, I had been riding this motorcycle for a few weeks before I decided to really commit to practicing wheelies on it. But you know, get to know the bike, get to know the throttle response, get to know everything there is to know about the motorcycle, the brakes, everything like that. Everything is important before you start practicing them. Let's try another one. Wow, that car nearly came off the road then. Yeah, honestly guys, I've always been rubbish at wheelies, always. Woo! There you go. That was a pretty good one. And that's on a worn out clutch. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. But again, I stayed in control of the bike, you know. As soon as it got up a little bit too high for my liking, then I dropped it back down again. And that's not what you should do anyway. Yeah, you should have enough control over the throttle that you're able to put the power down as the front end is coming down, as it's touching the ground, because then it's not so much of a thud when the bike hits the ground, you know. And it's certainly just that's the thing, you see so many videos out there about how to do wheelies, and I might do one myself when I get confident enough. I might do a video like that myself as well. But my main priority is to tell you guys what the dangers are of pulling wheelies to begin with, because every motorcycle rider wants to do it. Everyone does. But I don't see too many videos out there about the dangers of trying to pull wheelies, and because they are dangerous. I'm not going to lie to you, they are dangerous. You know, that you are in less control of the motorcycle than you would be. But let's have another go. It's going a little bit uphill here. Yeah. That's another thing as well. I'm doing these wheelies in first gear, and first gear, another piece of advice, I wouldn't recommend practicing wheelies in first gear if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Do second gear clutch ups. Yes, they are a little bit more wear on the rear tire, alright? They will hurt, oh sorry, not more wear on the rear tire rather, a little bit more wear on the clutch, because they are putting a little bit more pressure on the clutch than first gear is. But they are a lot easier to control. They're harder to pull, but they are easier to control. You know, the throttle isn't going to be so snatchy as you've probably seen in this video on the ZX-9R. The throttle can feel very, very snatchy in first gear wheelies. But yeah, guys, wheelies are very, very dangerous. All right, definitely go and check out any other content, any other kind of resources, any references that you can find. Do as much research as you possibly can about doing wheelies, because you'll find a lot of content creators, they pull wheelies like they were nothing, and they make it look really easy. And one day, maybe for me, maybe I'll find them easy to do, I don't know. But I'll tell you right now, from the position I'm in right now, they are not easy things to do. They are very, very scary. And when the front end of the bike comes up, it feels totally unnatural. It goes against all instincts that you would have. All right, so whatever you do, take it easy. Yeah, if you're going to be practicing wheelies, don't go 100% into it, because you don't need to. Yeah, doing what I'm doing, doing the little wheelies, doing the little bumps is all you need. All right, we'll try another one whilst we're going down this road here. Well, actually, there was something that I did want to mention as well. That I was having a look around the clutch casing of the ZX-9R. And I don't know, it didn't look like as if it looked like as if someone had taken it off before. So The clutch might have been changed already on this motorcycle, I don't know. I came off the throttle a little bit there. Yeah, I felt it. So if I give it a little bit more gas, then I would have got it up easy, but that's what she said. Yeah, doing little baby wheelies there. They are fun. I'm not gonna lie, pulling wheelies is mega fun. I absolutely love it, and I'm not gonna stop practicing until I can do them safely and I can do them consistently. But yeah, guys and gals, I mean, today is more of a video, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, about telling you the dangers of what can happen when you're pulling a wheelie, the things that can happen to the motorcycle. Basically, the biggest things that are going to wear on your motorcycle is going to be, one, the clutch, and two is going to be maybe the rear tire, depending on how much traction you get. And I mean, I think it's fairly obvious as well, but the older your rear tire is, the harder it is going to be to pull a wheelie, because you're not going to have as much grip. Right, because tire performance does degrade over time as you use the bike, and yeah, if you try doing back-ins and things like that, which I've also been trying to do on the ZX-9R as well, just having a little bit of fun, because this motorcycle's got no ABS or anything like that as far as I'm aware, so it just you know, doing little tricks like that can be a little bit of fun, because everything is mechanical on this motorcycle. There is no computers involved whatsoever. So yeah, it's certainly a really raw experience, something really fun. But I mean, just going out today, actually, I'm feeling a little bit confident in the clutch. It seems to have a little bit more life left in it. Just a little bit annoying how it doesn't look like the lever was, or the wire rather, the clutch cable was actually done well enough. Because there's certainly, it does feel like there's a lot more bite to the clutch now than there was before. I don't know, but yeah, really fun little motorcycle to pull wheelies on, especially because it's quite lightweight as well. 200 kilograms of weight, that's nothing, absolutely nothing for a motorcycle, especially a motorcycle that's this big. 900cc is wicked. But anyway, guys and gals, yeah, as much as wheelies are cool and as much as they're fun and everything like that, if you're going to practice them, spend time doing it. Don't rush it, don't rush into it. And like me, you're going to have plenty of days where you're not going to be able to pull a wheelie, or if you do, they're like teeny tiny little ones and that's all you can do, things like that. That's going to happen. It's going to be very frustrating, but it doesn't matter. Every single time whenever you go out on the motorcycle, you get over that fear just a little bit more, you know. You don't have as much fear as you did before. You know what to expect and you're gaining that experience. That's the main thing. And as much as wheelies are dangerous, I still recommend that you practice them anyway, so you know what to expect if for whatever reason your motorcycle decides to try and jump out from underneath you. You know what it feels like. Yeah? Because that's you know, knowing every situation, what to expect, as many situations as possible on a motorcycle, the better. And I think I will mention as well that I haven't actually been out on this bike for a week either. No, I didn't give it enough gas, and I think I gave it the right amount of clutch, but it needed more gas. Yeah. Anyway, guys and gals, yeah, just practice. All right, if you need to, there are probably training schools out there as well that will help you learn how to do wheelies on a motorcycle. So that is always an option for you if you're really struggling to do it yourself. I've always been one of these people that self-teaches themselves things. You know, I've always done it, so I feel comfortable doing this myself, but I understand that some people wouldn't necessarily want to practice their wheelies on their own. They're going to want some coaching or something like that, and that's something I may end up doing as well, especially when it comes to being able to do a wheelie more safely and what have you. But going through this process, you do learn how to do them properly, and yeah, I'm hoping that once I learn how to do clutch ups, I don't have to worry about how fast I'm going anymore, because that's the biggest issue that I've got with throttle ups, is you're going mega fast when you're pulling wheelies, especially on a 600. I remember pulling a throttle up a few throttle ups on my old CBR 600 RR from Honda. Did I say that? Did I say it was Honda? But you know, because the first gear, top end of first gear, you're doing over 70 mile an hour on that motorcycle, maybe 75, 77 mile an hour or so. And the only way you're going to be able to pull a throttle up on that bike in first gear is to be at the top end of the range. You have to be, I think, 10,000 RPM and over. So yeah, you're already going pretty fast at that point. But clutch ups, you're able to do, well, if you're doing them right, you should be able to do clutch ups without having to go too fast. I mean, hopefully that's what I've demonstrated today as well. All right, let's see it. Let's see if the clutch slips. Oh, it is. It is still slipping. Damn it. Okay. All right. Yeah. That confirmed my suspicions then. So no, it's still not fixed, but that's okay because it was just a whatever. It was just a guess. You know, I was just trying it, seeing if I could do a cheap, easy fix, but nah. I haven't got enough room to properly test it, but yeah, she really slipped there. But anyway, guys and girls, like I kind of mentioned to you earlier, that is pretty much some of the dangers of pulling wheelies, practicing wheelies, just so you guys know exactly what you're getting yourselves into, because yeah, as cool as they are and as fun as they are, they can be dangerous, especially when you don't know what you're doing. So take it easy, get that practice in, train as much as you possibly can, give it as much time as you possibly can. The more time you get into it, the better the wheelies will be, and the more confident you'll be, and the safer you'll be doing them. But I hope that this has given you a bit of insights into basically my experiences thus far practicing wheelies, because I'm a total wheelie noob. But anyway, thank you ever so much for watching today's video, and I hope it's been valuable advice anyway, because like I mentioned earlier, I know that a lot of people want to be able to do wheelies on their motorcycles, they want to be able to practice them. I totally get it. So yeah, hopefully this is a different take on that. But yeah, thanks again. As always, leave a like, hit subscribe, and we will catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.